everybody, today we are doing a non-spoiler and spoiler book review on A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. Okay, now, I think if you've seen my other videos, you know how I feel about this, and also you've probably heard a lot about the show and the books, so if you're interested in this, stick around. Okay, guys, so A Game of Thrones is a high fantasy book, and it is set in a world called Westeros. Well, the land is called Westeros. So, basically, what has happened is the King Robert, so his hand has died, and basically his hand is the one that, he's almost like a second king. He helps him with everything. So the king's hand has died, and the king is now traveling north to a castle called Winterfell, and there is the Stark family, okay? And the Stark family is kind of what this book is centered around. 6 of the 8 point of views is centered around the Stark family. So basically, A Game of Thrones, at its core, is a mystery. So Jon Arryn, who's the king's hand, people think that he died of natural causes, but the Stark family is led to believe that Jon Arryn has been murdered. And so the Starks, Lord Stark, is going to be the king's new hand, and he's trying to figure out how the king's hand died, because the king could be in trouble and he also could be in trouble. So basically, that's the synopsis, and the story follows 3 or 4 different storylines, and then in each of those storylines, you have different point of views. So I'll go over the 8 point of views. You have Lord Stark, you have his wife Catelyn, and they have a son, Bran, who is about 9 or 10, and a daughter, Arya, who's 8 or 9. I'm sorry, I don't know their exact ages. And then their daughter, Sansa, who's 13, and Lord Stark's bastard son, Jon Snow. Okay, so those are the Stark family's point of view. There is also baby Rickon and then Robb, but they don't have point of views. So the last 2 point of views are not in the Stark family. One of them is Daenerys Targaryen, and she is across the sea, across this land, into another land, and she is there because her dad, I believe, was king before Robert the Usurper came along, and they are from this long line of kings and queens who ruled the land before King Robert took over. So her brother wants to take back the throne. So basically her storyline is her brother, and this isn't a spoiler, this happens right when you get to her point of view, is going to sell her basically to wed this warlord guy, and because he wants the warlord's power, his men and everything, to take back over the 7 kingdoms. So you have that storyline, and then the last one is Tyrion Lannister, and Tyrion Lannister is a dwarf, an imp or whatever, and his sister is the queen, okay? So she's married to Robert. So it's already confusing, isn't it? And this is the most easiest way I could think to explain it. But basically, those are your 8 point of views. And what George R.R. Martin does is every point of view, you get this new snippet of information or this cliffhanger, and then you're taken to another person's point of view, and all you want to do is stay with that person and find out what happens, but you can't. So, like, I would find myself wanting to skip to another person's point of view, and I was like, no, India, you gotta keep going with the story. Keep going with the story. And so basically, the plots, they follow Lord Stark and his 2 daughters, Arya and Sansa, in King's Landing, where the kings live. Then you have Catelyn Stark, she's kind of everywhere in the book, and then Bran and his other 2 brothers are at Winterfell, and then Tyrion's kind of everywhere, and Daenerys is across the Narrow Sea, and then you have Jon Snow, who I won't reveal where he is because I guess that might be considered a spoiler, but I have started the TV show. I'm about 4 episodes in. If you would like me to talk about that, I can also do that It's really good. It follows the book pretty perfectly. So that's basically the best way I could think to explain it. I mean, obviously I loved it. It's 5 out of 5 stars. Read it. Again, I will mention this. I already said it in my book talk, but there is mature language and mature sexual content in this book. So if you or your parents is not okay with this, don't read it. But if so, pick it up, guys. Pick it up. All right, we're going into a brief spoiler section. So if you have not read the book, please, ever so politely, leave. Okay, so people now should only be people that have read the book, right? Okay, so basically, I just want to talk about, like, who was your favorite point of view? I've heard, like, very different opinions on this. I think Daenerys is always a favorite, and she was definitely one of my favorites. But I would get annoyed with her sometimes because I didn't understand why she wanted to please Khal Drogo and be nice to him. She's 14 and she's pregnant, and I know Khal Drogo could have been worse than he was, but he was making her do these things, and as a 14-year-old girl, she never should have had to experience that, and I just would get mad at her. I'd be like, I don't understand why you love Khal Drogo so much. I don't understand. I mean, I guess she's young and she thinks she's in love, but I do love her. I think she's strong and great. I was kind of sad that I don't like Viserys, however you say his name, but I wanted to see more of his story, you know what I mean? And he died, and yeah. And probably my favorite point of view is actually Lord Stark, which is surprising because it is a middle-aged man. But he had the most political interest. I always felt like his life was at danger at all times, so I was really worried for him. And eventually he did. When he died, I just was crying. I was so upset. I was mad at Sansa for being so stupid. Sansa just, throughout the book, I just wanted to throttle her. I just was like, Sansa, why? And I mean, I understand where she's coming from maybe 10% of the time. I get it. But Arya, like, you can't help but love Arya so much more. She's just so cool. And I love her and her dance master. And I was sad, like, I would get attached to all these minor characters, and I knew I shouldn't get attached because I knew that people said that he kills off characters, and I get attached to this minor character. Next chapter, they're dead. They're dead. They're dead. I really liked Sir Jorah. Can't remember. I see it's really hard to remember people's names. Daenerys, the knight that's with Daenerys, he was really cool. I trusted him completely. Robb really grew on me, and I was like, why doesn't Robb not have a point of view? I think for a teenager who's leading his army, I mean, King of the North, that section, I was so pumped. So pumped. I was like dancing when I was reading it. I was like, King of the North, King of the North. I was so excited. And yeah, the only thing, I love Jon Snow as a character, but his storyline, I just wasn't interested in the Wall. I just wasn't. I mean, it's the Wall. Nothing really was happening. Yeah. And I have a new favorite fictional animal is the direwolf. I want a direwolf so bad. I was so upset when Lord Stark had to kill him, but also that chapter was so powerful when Lord Stark and Sansa and Arya were like, no, you know, you can kill our wolf, but we're gonna kill it our way. We're gonna kill it the Stark way. And I think that was like, that's right. Yeah, get off you Lannisters. This is like might be a mild spoiler for the other books. If you haven't read the other books, don't listen to this for like 10 seconds. I've heard that Jaime Lannister turns good. Now, I cannot picture that, but yeah. So, tell me your thoughts, guys. Your favorite parts were, who are your favorite point of views. Also, tell me, is the second one good? Because I'm like 200 pages in, and it is. I know that the third one is considered the best one, so I'm really excited to get there. It's taking a while because they're really dense. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.